IDF tanks struck military posts belonging to Hamas in the Gaza Strip overnight in response to 4 surface-to-air rockets that were launched into Israel. Sirens sounded in the city of Sderot and Kibbutz Ruhama. 3 of the rockets exploded in the air, and 1 rocket fell in an open area. Earlier, Israeli fighter jets targeted an underground weapons facility in the central Gaza Strip in response to a rocket launch from the Hamas-ruled Palestinian enclave. The rocket was intercepted by the Iron Dome defense system. The Israel Defense Forces said in a statement early Monday that the targeted facility produced raw materials for manufacturing rockets and was run by Hamas. The attack on the underground facility harms Hamas' ability to produce weapons, the IDF said. Meanwhile, in Nablus, the IDF, Shin Bet, and Border Police forces arrested 2 terrorists suspected of carrying out the shooting attack in which the late IDF soldier, Ido Baruch, was killed in October 22 near the settlement of Shavei Shomron. 3 other suspects were arrested along with them. Over the past few days, the Shin Bet located the hiding apartment where the wanted persons were staying, and during the attempt, overnight there was an exchange of fire. The wanted persons, as a result, were injured and captured. The cabinet on Sunday approved the legalization of 9 settlement outposts deep in the West Bank. But before we deal with that, more on Gaza and the events, of course, in the West Bank with Yerushalmi here in studio with us. Thank you very much for coming in. Let's talk about the Israeli response to the attacks from Gaza overnight. What do you make of how severe the attack was, how severe the response was, and is Israel doing enough in these very busy days for the Israeli parliament and for the political system?
Well, obviously not, since after the first rocket that was shot, 3 more were shot. So it seems that there is no deterrence. It seems that it's business as usual, meaning yet again the ball is in the Gazan court, and they decide whether to disturb the peace or not, and we are at the mercy of their decisions. That's after a few days of direct and indirect negotiations through the Egyptians, the Jordanians, the UN. So we do not see anything new happening. The fact that the IDF's answer was delayed by 1 day reminds us of the strategy adopted by former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett when he came into power and decided that the response would be when suiting us and not just automatically, just after every shot, we shoot back. So that might be that strategy that is applied. There might also have
interesting. Netanyahu is learning something from Bennett?
It seems it might be the case. Everybody's learning from everybody of late. I don't know how far they take it, since we see that the deterrence is not working.
So let's just a question about the deterrence. If this were Bennett, though, Netanyahu and the Likud would claim that this is not enough, that the response to every missile should be much more severe by the Israeli side. And hence I'm asking you about the severity of the response, the attack on the arms manufacturing facility, or let's say the raw materials that are used for arms, and then the other posts, of course, on the border that were fired at. Is this enough to deter?
No, because the outpost, it's really something that you build in 2 or 3 hours, like scaffolding, and that was shot by anti-tank missiles, which is absolutely nothing, and there was nobody anywhere in the outpost. I mean, each time, the mayor of Sderot this morning said rightfully, these missiles are shot at Israeli citizens to kill them, and the reprisal never kill anybody. So this was that. Then when the IDF says that they have struck hard the capacity of production of missiles, you just have to look at the number of missiles today at the hands of the Hamas and the Islamic Jihad in Gaza, which is between 7,000 and 10,000, to understand that also there the response was not mostly enough. So of course there you have to understand that there is a situation where we are being asked, and maybe we would want to appease tensions at the approach of Ramadan.
Rafael, you showed me a word about the arrests overnight in Nablus in the West Bank. Seems like the terrorists who committed the murder in October were arrested. What do we know about that group? Were they acting alone? Were they affiliated with a group?
Yes, they were members of what we once called the Lion's Den. We were talking in October when the Lions Den still existed or was still active. It is a very good news in the sense that the intel eventually reached the guys. The message here is maybe clearer than our Air Force attack of last night. The message here is clear. We get to these guys, we apprehend them or we kill them. This seems to be working, even though it doesn't deter. The deterrence worked in a way that the Lions Den in the end dismantled. So there's some kind of result there. There is a strong hand, but yet again we have today the government has a dilemma: appeasing tensions at the approach of Ramadan, or having more tension to just disturb the attention of the Israeli public opinion towards security.
Raphael Yerushalmi, thank you very much.